The New York Knicks are coming off a loss to the Los Angeles Lakers, and we have the latest OG Anunoby injury update. Plus, we get into some trades with the deadline being this week. Let's do it.
Run that intro.
Basketball.
You're listening to the Knicks Nation podcast, where we've got all your Knicks needs covered.
Puts up a three. Bang! Bang! He ties the game!
Now, live from the city that never sleeps, here are your hosts, Anthony and Chris.
What's going on, Knicks Nation? Appreciate you guys for joining us for another Knicks Nation podcast. This is episode 97 of the Knicks Nation podcast. 3 more to 100. Wow. So if you're listening on Apple, Spotify, please hit the follow button. Please leave us a rating. It really helps us out on that. And if you're on YouTube, please smash the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. Look, it's been a crazy last 48 hours across the NBA with the Luka Doncic trade. Now we just learned De'Aaron Fox is going to the Spurs. Zach LaVine is going to the Kings. I guess that's why they call the NBA the greatest league in the show, Chris. So what's going on, Chris?
Insane trades happening in the NBA. Luka Doncic, who would have thought, man? You know, swapping AD for Luka. I'll give my thoughts on it a little bit later, but insane. Look, we can't wait to see what the Knicks are gonna do. I mean, obviously we went through it the last pod. It's kind of hard for the Knicks to cook up some trades, especially with their situation. But there are other things to worry about in Knicks land, and I'll just tease that spot a little bit. But Ant, how are you doing tonight?
Doing good. So, a little hiccup against the Los Angeles Lakers, right? But, it happens in the NBA. You can't win them all. Lakers were, shot pretty well in that game. But the big news is the OG Anunoby. Obviously, he went down with a contact injury, and it looked pretty bad. But he walked off into the locker room, and the latest update on the OG Anunoby news is that he is actually questionable against the Houston Rockets with a foot sprain. X-rays came back negative, but the real question is, do you believe it, what the Knicks are telling you? Are you concerned? You got a poll in the YouTube chat saying, are you concerned about the OG Anunoby injury? Somebody said, I said, we're cooked. The other answer is not at all. He's okay. The third response is make a trade for insurance. We'll talk about some trades as well later on in the podcast episode, but they are calling it a foot sprain, Chris. We all know how the Knicks are regarding injuries, very vague, and so take things with a grain of salt. I'm not sure if this is going to be a long-term thing. I've done some research. Everywhere I've seen gives it like 2 to maybe 3 weeks for a foot sprain, depending on the severity of the foot sprain. We all know OG Anunoby has durability issues. Chris has actually been healthy the entire. I mean, he's been amazing, right? And it sucks that he's just coming along here, but that's the real question, Chris. Foot sprain, questionable. That's all we got. What do you say to that?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I hope it is a foot sprain because, when it comes to Knicks and their injuries and what they want out there, in the public media, usually they just give the vaguest of responses. They say, oh, it's something, don't he's fine. Don't worry about it. But history has shown us that usually when that happens with the Knicks, they end up coming back, 2, 3, 4 days later. And, we get news that is 10 times worse. Hopefully that is not the case with OG Anunoby. Because look, we talked about it in the last pod. We were basically saying, if we told you OG Anunoby was going to be healthy this entire time, would you take it? And we were just signing off on that like it's a miracle that he's been healthy, considering all the minutes he's been playing and things like that. And sure enough, against the Lakers, he goes down. And it looked scary, man. It looked like he was grabbing at the back, his calf. Hopefully he's all right, man. But usually, like you mentioned, when it comes to Knicks and them giving injury updates, usually it doesn't go the way they say it does. Especially the first break of news, which is a foot sprain. I hope so, but I don't know, man. History tells me otherwise.
I mean, we remember the elbow issue last year. They were very vague about it. Then, obviously he took his time to come back, came back, and he was still not even 100%. Even to this year, we see him with the tape on his elbow. But the thing that stinks about this is that he has been coming along here, Chris, and he's been playing really well for this team. Even in Spurs against the Lakers, he was playing really well. And I think when he kind of went out, it kind of like sucked the air out of things. And ultimately, we couldn't overcome from that. But yeah, Knicks, very vague in terms of their injuries. But also, Chris, one thing I've also thought of is they can also be strategic here. I think there's some strategy mixed into OG being questionable against the Rockets, simply because the trading deadline is this week, right? And one thing that this Knicks team has been scouting is another wing off that bench. And the injury to OG Anunoby just magnified that kind of issue you have coming in off the bench with, the lack of a depth wing off the bench. Shamet, is replaceable, to be honest, but he has had spurts here and there, but there could be some strategy mixed in this Thursday. Because, hey, we know how they are with injuries, man. I honestly think it's more to this, but yeah.
I do too. And honestly, I didn't even think about it that way, but that is a great point. I mean, look, obviously trade deadline is coming up. We see all these trades happening as of recently, but if you have, if you're the Knicks and you have OG Anunoby going down, and like you mentioned, we're obviously looking for bench depth, whether that's a wing or a big or whatever. You don't want to let it know that OG might miss 2-3 weeks, maybe a month, whatever the case is.
Yep.
That's just going to make other teams say, hey, we know you need this guy. Price has gone up, baby. So that's exactly what you don't want happening, especially, when you're trying to work trades. And obviously the Knicks are limited in what they can do in that front. But yeah, I never thought about it that way. But look, man, I'm just hoping OG Anunoby is good. He was rolling. He was having some really good games over this last 6-game stretch. He was shooting 53, I believe, from 3-point land.
Mm-hmm.
I think, 45, I believe, overall from field goal percentage. He was rolling, man.
54, excuse me. Yeah.
Even better. So he was rolling, man. OG Anunoby was rolling. So for him to go down just as it seemed like everything was clicking for him, it sucks, man. It sucks.
Likewise. Appreciate every single one of you guys in the chat. Smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Come join us here in the chat. I see you guys all in the chat. We'll get to your questions during the podcast. Once again, OG Anunoby news is that he is questionable, and that is the latest update. So it could be that he's good to go. He could just be playing the next game, and that's it. But we all know Knicks have history with being very vague with injuries. I am not going to believe it until I see it. I also kind of just want them to be kind of cautious with OG Anunoby. Maybe just give him a week or two and see how, the foot responds. You don't want to push it, right? I mean, we're dealing with Karl-Anthony Towns right now, who is struggling from behind the arc. And a lot of people just wanted Cat to get the surgery, Chris. Just get the surgery and come back in, a month or two, and we just go from there. But you're seeing the thumb is becoming an issue when he's attempting threes, and I'm not sure if that can get better, but I'm hoping that it can get better. So you don't want to push these things, Chris. I mean, it's still a long season. The All-Star break still hasn't even come up yet. But, I mean, you're still in a good spot in the Eastern Conference. But, yeah, in a blink of an eye, it just kind of reminded you, like, look, Anunoby can just go down like that. And then you hold your breath, obviously. But if I'm in the Knicks front office, I'm working the phones. Like, I'm trying to get a wing off that bench. I am. And there's a couple of names that we'll discuss. One name in particular that I think the Knicks could get done and they should get done. But if I'm Leon in that in that front office, like I said earlier, I'm not gonna let it be known that Anunoby's gonna be out for a while. We could be wrong too. I mean, could be just a fluke thing, and he could just be back the next game. But yeah, I mean, cat injury, Chris, OG injury, so I don't like this. I don't like this.
Yeah, it's not ideal, right? It's not ideal, but these were the possibilities, right? I mean, look, there was no, question about OG Anunoby's, health, his history. Same with Karl-Anthony Towns, right? He's always had injuries. Granted, this one was kind of, he's trying to play through it, but as you can see, he's struggling to shoot that three ball, which is a huge weapon for us. And Karl-Anthony Towns over his last 6 games has been shooting 20% from three, which is, look, he's getting it done in other ways, which is great. More post play, still grabbing the boards at a high clip, dishing the rock a little bit, but 20% from three is just not going to cut it.
Mm-hmm.
Look, they rely on Cat to stretch the floor. And if you're shooting 20%, I don't care how good of a shooter you were, guys are not going to respect that. So, I also want to see Karl-Anthony Towns get healthy, whether that's getting the surgery and just sitting out a bit. We're going to need him at his best, especially to compete against the better teams in the NBA. But we'll see what happens with that situation. One promising thing I will say about OG Anunoby, he did walk off the floor under his own power. It's not like they were dragging him off the court or anything like that. He did have a little bit of a limp, but it didn't seem anything drastic like something blew out, on his calf or his God forbid his Achilles or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
So I will say that. So that's kind of promising in my opinion, even though people will point back to Kobe, shooting free throws with his blown Achilles and all that. But
yeah,
I'm hoping for the best. I still think this team is still in good shape. Obviously, our record gives us a bit of cushion. And look, the All-Star break coming soon could be, just what we need, basically, rest up, heal up, and just get reinvigorated for that stretch run, right?
Yeah, like we said, it stinks because OG he was looking damn good, man. He was coming along, looking great. His shot looked like butter. He was looking back into form. Those 3 days off that the Knicks had, a couple of weeks ago, seems like they really helped OG Anunoby. And look, we just have to hope and pray that he is fine. But in the meantime, Knicks have to figure out if he's out a week or two, how do you replace him? Who steps up? Who fills the void? But let's see some of these comments, Chris. See you guys in the chat. Appreciate all of you in the chat. Everyone is talking about these trades, about Luka Doncic going to the Lakers, Fox to the Spurs, and you got Levine going to the Kings. Man, oh man, the NBA. You gotta love the NBA. Man, that trade.
I can't believe.
When I saw that trade going out on my phone, I was like, this is not real. Like, this is not happening right now. But it's a lot of people saw one first-round pick. They automatically pointed to Mikal Bridges trade. It said Mikal Bridges went for 5 first-round picks. Luka Doncic went for 1 first-round pick. I saw that all over. And I mean,
it's because, it's not like Anthony Davis, wasn't included in the trade. It was strictly a first-round pick for Luka. I mean, nah, I mean – that trade was ridiculous. I still can't believe that trade went down. I personally, who would you say won that trade? Because I mean, I'm saying Lakers all day. Not only did they get an MVP caliber player, once LeBron is out, now you got Luka Doncic taking over. I mean, what a reset that is for the Lakers. I'll just say that.
Obviously, Luka had his weight issues, and the Mavs were done with him. But if they would have called around the league, I think a lot of teams would have gutted their roster for Luka Doncic. And Lakers get another primetime superstar in LA. It seems like they get these trades on discount. It's the Knicks tax, and it's the Lakers discount. That's what it is.
It's funny. It's funny how that works.
But they're out west. I mean, I think Dallas is going to be really good with Anthony Davis. I don't want to sleep on that
No, yeah.
because that's going to be good for them. But
I guess what I was trying to say though is, Anthony Davis has had his fair shares of injury woes. Staying
yeah,
on the court has been an issue for him. Granted, this year he's been amazing. So I just feel like Luka has a longer leash, and who knows how long AD will play in this league. Both are youngish type dudes. So look, I mean, I just think the upside is there with Luka versus AD, in my opinion. But yeah, Dallas is going to be crazy, especially. I mean, people forget Kyrie's still there, so
hmm
it's that's a hell of a trade. I'll just say that.
Shoquan says, "What do you think about a trade for Rui Hachimura?" I brought up a trade last week involving Rui Hachimura and Mitchell Robinson going to the LA Lakers. Don't know if you caught that. We'll revisit that in a little bit. Yuri, what's going on? To see you in the chat. Jabroni says, "Don't be surprised when the Lakers trade LeBron." Stanley says, "Maybe the Knicks should find out if Vucevic is available. Trade Mitch for him and pair Cat with Vucevic." Defense. I don't know about
He
that.
definitely is available,
Yeah.
but I don't know if that money is gonna work. To be honest,
Yeah.
it could though. It could.
Yuri says, "Y'all can't blame Thibs for OG." Yeah. It look freak injury, and then Joey early on in the chat says OG prayer emoji. Tony went to the game and said, "All I wanted was this win against the Lakers, and I went to the game and they let me down." Sorry about that, Tony. Hope you enjoyed yourself. But yeah. Ed Santana says OG Mitch for Giannis. Oh man. Here we go. Here we
OG.
go. Appreciate you, Ed Santana,
You
though.
trying to trade OG already? Nah,
But
no way.
so if OG Anunoby's out for a week, Chris, Knicks can obviously go many different ways. They could start Deuce. They can start Precious. And the question is Tom Thibodeau going to stick with his normal 9-man rotation, or is he going to shrink it back to 8 and maybe give like Daddy a shot or Kolek sprinkled in there? But yeah, you need kind of some size, I believe. But, Mikal Bridges can also fill that void a lot. So what do you expect if OG's out for, let's say, a week or 2 weeks? Do you think this Knicks team can weather the storm a little bit? And yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think they can. I mean, look, this is why I believe the Knicks really wanted to get Mikal Bridges on board as well. We said it back then.
Yeah.
It's kind of like insurance for OG Anunoby. Look, OG has been fairly healthy. I mean, this entire season until recently, and I think when it comes to it's going to be a team effort. Obviously, you don't replace OG Anunoby with just one person, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So Mikal will pick up that slack. Who starts? That's a good question, though. I could see Tibbs, going with Precious because look, Precious has been playing well for us. He's been offensively and defensively, he's been doing really well. I could see him kind of going into the starting lineup and Mikal taking OG's spot essentially. I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be fine even if it's 2 weeks.
I think we'll be fine too. Look, it stinks because the upcoming schedule is, you got, the Rockets, and it's a tough schedule, but, we just have to see. I mean, honestly, it's what you believe, what you believe. Knicks are calling it a foot sprain. And we know in years past they've been very vague with injuries, but at the end of the day, I do think that they're, being a little bit of coy here. They want to get another wing. They want to get another trade. And I think, there's some strategy being played into OG Anunoby's status. And I know Leon's working the phones. I know the Knicks are working the phones. I know if there's something out there, they are going to strike. And this OG Anunoby injury just led me to believe, Chris, that, you need insurance because Landry Shamet, look, I like him, but he's replaceable. He's definitely replaceable. And if he's not going to hit his threes, there's no point in being out there, honestly. So he can be replaced. And I think that should be priority number one this week. I know there's been a lot of Mitchell Robinson rumors, and we'll get to the latest Mitchell Robinson news soon, Chris, but when OG goes down like that, I mean, it's scary. It's scary because, look, he signed that mega deal. Everyone talked about, he can't stay on the floor. And this year he's been awesome in terms of doing that. And, I think they need some insurance, though, for sure. Definitely.
Yeah, I agree. And it's going to be interesting to see what the Knicks do. Because, look, there's no secret. They're gonna have to get creative with these deals,
Yeah.
What is out there? Obviously we've seen these bigger trades now. Now this most recent trade with Fox, some of those pieces in those trades, those guys could get bought out. Those guys could get,
Mm-hmm.
you got to see what's going to be out there. It's not only the trade deadline, but see what shakes loose from other teams that could potentially help us, right? So it's tough to say what's going to happen, but look, I still feel the Knicks are obviously in a good spot. Sucks to lose OG Anunoby, and hopefully it just is exactly what the Knicks say, although it never works out that way. But look, I'll take a foot sprain. It looked a hell of a lot worse than that. So let's just hope he can get back on the court as soon as possible.
For sure. Hit some of these comments. Appreciate every single one of you guys in here. Stanley says, get Javonte Green for Sims and start Green. That's one of the trades I actually have, I think that trade's a no-brainer, and we'll talk about that a little bit, Chris. Honestly, think that trade's a no-brainer. He also says foot sprains are bad. OG's out at least 2 weeks. Tony says, I'm hearing the Knicks are going to trade for Ayo Dosumu and Kenrich Williams, and we are trading Mitch and Kolek. Hope this isn't true.
I don't like that at all.
Yeah, a lot of rumors. A lot of rumors.
Yeah.
It's trade deadline week, baby. I mean, it's you're gonna see a lot of rumors, and going to, and then they're talking about the Karl-Anthony Towns. Billy says, real talk, our 2 all-star starters played miserable last night, or we would have eked out a win with OG and Cat's performances become more vital to our success. Yeah, I mean, they didn't play good against the Lakers. And, hey, it happens. It stinks that, had it happened to LeBron, this guy seems like he wins every time he steps foot in MSG, which is unfortunate. But, you wash that away and you move on to Houston. This league is tough. But, regarding Mitchell Robinson, so the latest on Mitchell Robinson is that apparently he is super, super close to returning to practice. That's the latest that Ian Begley has been hearing. So it went from running and jumping, not practicing, no contact, to now it's super, super, super close to returning to contact practice. If you can run and jump, I think he could take contact, but that just leads me to believe that the Knicks are being extra careful with him. And again, these updates are coming out right before the trading deadline. All positive updates regarding Mitchell Robinson. Take that for what you will, but he is on the verge of returning, Chris. And look, he can only help, man. He can only help. And he's been in trade rumors too, but you think they should trade him? You think they should keep him? Let us know in the chat. But Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm still on the boat that you keep Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah.
You just roll the dice. I still don't see anybody out there that's, currently available that's going to be better than what Mitch can possibly bring you. And I get it. That's a big risk, but that's the way I feel, man. And look, if we had Mitch out there for that Laker game, you can't tell me that would have not made a huge difference in that game. But look, Mitchell Robinson, that's great. I hope he is practicing soon. That is the news. That's great news for us. But how about you, Am? How do you feel? Do you think we should keep Mitchell Robinson, or do you dangle him out there in a possible trade? I just feel the fit with the Knicks is better than anything you're possibly going to get out there.
Look, I get a lot of heat from my take on Mitchell Robinson. I see you guys in the YouTube comments like, stop talking about the Mitchell Robinson stuff. But, hey, if he's in rumors, we're going to talk about him. But I just think that he doesn't really have any value right now. And, if you're an NBA GM, looking at Mitch, injury prone, big, you want to see him kind of get back on the court. So you can kind of revisit it in the summer, hope that he gets back, to good health this season, maybe next week, who knows? But I mean, he's on the verge of returning. But at the same time, Chris, there could be a desperate team like the Lakers who just traded away Anthony Davis and they are depleted. They need a big, and they could contact the Knicks and be like, "Hey, you want to work something out?" Like
Yeah.
that stuff happens. There could be scenarios like that, and obviously, if you're the Knicks, you have to pick up the phone. So, I mean, if anyone can get traded. Like Luka Doncic just got traded, man. It's crazy. This league is insane. So,
Yeah.
look, I think if you can trade Sims and get a wing, I'll do that. But if you can't, I mean, I don't know. I mean, where I lie on Mitch is honestly, if he's good to go, I say, keep him and then hold off into the summertime. If you want to keep him, then you hope that and pray that he's healthy, and you hope that he has a good playoff run. But ultimately, if he comes back and it's the same song and dance, which I've been saying, then it's like, then what? I mean, I know his contract's a good contract, but what good is his contract if he's not on the floor?
Yeah.
I mean, we've been hearing about Mitchell Robinson forever now. I mean, you remember when the Knicks hit us with that bomb right before the season started. I mean, he wasn't going to be back until he'll be reevaluated in December or something. No one saw that coming.
Yeah.
Like the whole entire summer, people were thinking that Mitch was going to return in the first couple of months of the season. So that's going back to the Knicks being vague in terms of injuries. So it's like,
Yeah.
you don't know what to believe. It's trade deadline week. Anything can happen.
Literally anything can happen. I mean, look, when it comes to Mitch, maybe that's the case, right? You wait till after the season. Hopefully he stays healthy. At the worst, he could have no value, but yeah, I mean, he'll be an expiring deal, and that's attractive to certain teams too. So it's not like you're going to end up with absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Unless the Knicks want it that way, right? But, I know everybody's tired of the Mitchell Robinson, whether he's coming back or not. Did he play his last game? But like you mentioned, look, it's trade deadlines coming up. And to be quite honest, that is the biggest chip the Knicks have if they want to make a deal for a better type of player, But again, my stance is we're not going to get anything that fits as well as Mitchell Robinson possibly can alongside this roster. That's just my take on it.
Yeah. Well said. All right, let's see what you guys are saying. Appreciate you guys in the chat. Once again, appreciate you guys giving us your time on this Sunday evening. If you're on YouTube, smash the like button. We are also on Apple and Spotify. Look for the Knicks Nation. You see the logo. Please follow us over there. It really helps out on the audio side. Look, we're talking about the trades. We talked about the Anunoby injury update. Little hiccup versus the Lakers. It happens. But, schedule doesn't get easier, and you got the Rockets coming to town, and that should be a great battle, another great test in MSG. So yeah. Rasul says trade Mitch. He's just gonna get hurt again. Rasul says in the chat. G Wayne says Mitch injury prone. Let him go. He is talented, but don't take his health or body seriously. Look, Mitchell Robinson looks damn good. That's one thing I noticed about Mitchell Robinson, Chris. He looks skinny. He looks in shape. And the real question is that foot gonna hold up? That's the real question. So
yeah, and I think a lot of the news, around Mitch and him getting into shape, obviously getting really skinny. I think he said out he was at like his rookie season weight or something like that. A lot of people think a lot of his injury woes came from him adding on all that muscle, adding on all that weight, and being a guy who's trying to jump out the wind, at the gym and block everything, right?
Yeah.
So let's see, man. That's why I'm curious to see with Mitch. I'm curious to see skinny Mitch out there, and let's see if he can stay healthy. Maybe those injury woes are behind him. I know that's a big ask, but
I hope. I hope. Honestly, music to my ears, because music to my ears. Tony says Mitch is going to go crazy when he comes back. All this negative talk going to motivate and inspire him.
Thank you.
There we go. Love the
Some positivity
positivity.
around Mitch.
Love
Thank
the
you.
positivity.
Appreciate you, Tony.
Stanley says Mitch's minutes would be very limited. Lucky to get him 10 minutes per game. Of course, they're going to be very cautious with Mitchell Robinson. Very, very cautious. Big Taz says, I have a feeling that McBride will get traded.
Ooh.
Big Taz throwing bombs in here. Keith. What's going on, Keith? Appreciate you in here. Last year, Knicks were vague about his status because it came around the deadline. Then all of a sudden, they announced he had surgery that day. Keith,
Yep.
yeah. Goes back to the Knicks injury reports. Take everything with a grain of salt. And that's not us speaking negative on our team. It's just the reality of the situation. That's just how they operate. And, when I saw the OG Anunoby questionable, I was like, I hope, but I don't know about that. I just hope that it's nothing more. What we know, if it was something like serious, we would know, like a calf strain or like God forbid, I don't even want to say the injury, but something along those lines, we would know by now. So just a sprain, we just have to hope for the best, and we just have to hope that he comes back, because he was just coming along. He's a major piece of this puzzle, but
Yeah. And look,
yeah, Chris.
X-rays were negative, right? So that's a positive. That's a positive. So I just hope he's on the court soon, man. I'll say 2 weeks, something like that. We're good. We can get by that. But like you said, he's the biggest, in my opinion, key to the puzzle on the defensive side of the ball as well. And it just sucks, man. Again, he was coming around offensively, becoming more and more consistent, and boom, goes down, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. So, all right, trading deadline is Thursday, guys. So let's reshare the trade that we brought up last week, and then we'll revisit the trade that I brought up in the last pod with LV Live. Let me just try to get this up for you guys. All right. This is the trade that I think would be a no-brainer for the New York Knicks to complete. So it's with the New Orleans Pelicans. You're trading away Jericho Sims, a second-round pick. They're probably gonna. I don't know if they will haggle for more. I doubt it. They're bad, and Javonte Green is a good young, scrappy. Not young, but he's a good, scrappy defender and will fit perfectly in off the bench. And I think if this trade is out there, obviously Javonte Green's name has been linked to the Knicks, linked to the Celtics, linked to many contending teams, and that's for a reason, right? They're probably going to take this up until the trading deadline. It's probably going to be, whoever comes out on top. And Chris, but Jericho Sims, second round pick for Javonte Green. I just think this gives you the insurance. This gives you more depth off the bench when OG's return. He replaces Landry Shamet, in my opinion. I just think you're not giving up too much, right? What do you say about this one?
Yeah, I like this trade. I like this trade a lot. But for all the things you mentioned, you get that extra wing. You get that insurance for OG Anunoby, obviously. And when he comes back, you got a little bit more depth, right? And you got a scrappy player who I think will fit in great with this roster. And yes, you're losing out on Jericho Sims, who obviously has, he's done good for us, right? He's filled in when needed and did it pretty well. Obviously pretty rough to start, but got better as times went on. So, but I love you're not giving up any key pieces, right? You're not giving up any key pieces, and you're getting some much needed depth. So I like this trade a lot.
Humberto says, please stop promoting trades. The only person I trust is Leon Rose. Please. We all trust Leon Rose, Humberto, but it's always fun to talk trades. Obviously, we talked Cap before it happened. It happened. We talked a lot of trades before they happened. It happened. So it's fun to talk these things through, because just in case they happened, you want to be prepared. So
hey, Leon could be watching right now.
Hey, could be. Hi, Leon. How are you, Leon? But yeah, expiring deal, and I just think if this is out there, um, I think obviously if this is out there, the Knicks get this done. But they're shopping Sims, and with Mitch Robinson returning, Sims is expendable because obviously you want to keep a backup big. But this trade I think is a no brainer because I think the Knicks need some depth, and yeah, I like it. I mean, there's no. I mean, you're giving up a second round pick, and I know you found some gems in the second rounds. Porty, Kolek. So, but Javonte Green, I think is a good defender, and I think he fits right in. Honestly, I really do.
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree. Second round pick, man.
Hit some of these comments. See what you guys are thinking. Knicks don't need another 6'5", 3, and a 4. Javonte Green plays above his he can guard 3s, 4s. He can guard those big guys, and just a trade that we threw out there and are hoping that it's just a wing piece. I mean, Javonte Green's name is out there. There's a bunch of names out there, but Knicks can just stand pat, guys. Look, they can, but it's trading deadline week, and last year we didn't really think we wanted the Knicks to improve the bench. They got Bogdanovich, they got Alec Burks in a package. They shipped away Quentin Grimes, and you didn't really see that coming. And obviously Bogdanovich got hurt. And but one thing I know, Chris, is that if there's a trade out there, Leon's gonna do it. So Leon's gonna do it.
Yeah. Look, this front office always gets creative, and one way or another, they find a way to improve the roster.
They do. Tony says, "Can we shout out Precious Achiuwa, who I think has been playing solid and has been our best thing off the bench consistently?" Yes, there's been a lot. Yes, Tony. Precious Achiuwa has been awesome for this team, and he's been look. We knew when we signed him, we needed Precious. Like when we signed him late in the summertime, all eyes were yes. Like Precious was awesome for us when we were dealing with all those injuries last year. And this year started with an injury. Unfortunately, he hurt his hamstring. And, sometimes it takes guys, sometimes to come along from that, Chris. But Precious is coming along here. So shout out to Precious.
Yeah. Shout out to Precious Achiuwa, man. He's been doing his thing, man. He played really well against the Lakers. I believe he had 15 points, was crashing the boards. He's been coming around. He's been coming around, and we need it. So look, with OG going down, he's gonna be one of the key guys that we're gonna ask a little bit more of, and hopefully he can keep it rolling, man, because it's gonna be a tough stretch, man.
133 people in here. Let's get them likes up. 27 likes. Let's hit them likes up, please. Appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for joining us on this Sunday evening. Now we're just talking about, look, it's trading deadline week. I see some Kevin McCullough comments in the chat, man. Yeah. Good to see him back in the G League. I love that, obviously he's back. Obviously he's dealt with injuries, but a lot of people had him pegged in the early first round, last year. Obviously then injuries took a toll and, he dropped, but hey, as long as he's in the G League and, getting better, working behind the scenes, and just health is the main concern, it could be another gem, Chris. It could be.
Yeah, I'm happy to see McCullough is out there. He made his debut, played pretty well. But that's just the first step, right? We got to see him do that consistently, see what he has down there. Obviously our coach is Tom Thibodeau. He's not just going to throw him out there in an NBA game just for the hell of it. But we've seen stranger things, right? Like Daddy A starting off against the Celtics earlier on in the season, So, I think McCullough is a ways away, but it's definitely nice to see him out there. He had Josh Hart comps. So, look, if he rounds out to that type of a player, that would be a plus.
Man, if he can sign me up for that, man. If he can become that, and he's a scorer too.
Yeah.
He's a scorer
Yeah.
too. You know, he's good. He's good. Joel says, bro, when will Cat's thumb heal? Bro, shooting horribly these last few games. Chris, a part of me wanted Cat just to get the surgery, and you know, because I know he's shooting bad. Last 6 games, like you said, 20% from three. Didn't play well at all versus the Lakers. And last 6 games, he's averaging 17.5 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 assists. And look, last 6 games, I believe, were, 5-1. So,
Yeah.
did you want him to get the surgery? Or are you okay with him just playing with it and, shooting uncomfortably with it? Because I don't know if this lasts. I don't know if this shooting slump lasts or if he's just in a slump. I don't know if it's dumb. I don't know.
I mean, it's obviously bothering him, right? It's bothering him because the shots are not going down at the rate we saw, and he's not really taking them at the rate that he was either. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I for one would love to know if he did get that surgery, what is the recovery timeline? What is the estimated recovery timeline? That's my biggest question. I mean, I personally want all our players to be healthy, even if that means, missing a few games here and there. With Karl-Anthony Towns, yeah, I guess I'll say get the surgery, right? Because the reason we got Karl-Anthony Towns was for his ability not only, to play in the post and score efficiently, but hitting the three ball and giving us that extra dimension we never had before, until you go back to the Porzingis days, basically. That's what we need from Karl-Anthony Towns. So if you, like I mentioned before, if you got him shooting 20%, that doesn't do much for you. So I would love to see him get healthy, get that surgery, but I guess it depends. How long is it going to take for him to get back?
Yeah. I mean, if he was gonna get it, I think he should have got it like right when the injury happened, man. But hey, he's out there. He's a warrior. He's been awesome, but the shooting has been a concern. All right, update on this poll, Chris. So, are you concerned about the OG Anunoby injury? We are cooked is at 26%. Not at all. He's okay. Is at 44%. Make a trade for insurance is at 31%. So not at all. He's okay. Is winning with 44%. So a lot of people are trusting that this Knicks, the Knicks injury update regarding the foot sprain is, that's just the update and nothing more. And we can just hope that he can get back out there because we need him, especially because he has been playing awesome for us during these pretty much last 5 or so games. And he's been, hitting his open shots. I think he had a long 3 versus the Lakers, which I loved. And, just get healthy, OG, Chris, because that's the last thing we need, obviously. And I kind of get because it was around this point where the elbow thing happened last year, right? I think it was around this point.
Just about, pretty much.
And it was, I think I'm getting PTSD from that because it's like the same thing. Like, oh, he's okay. He'll be all right. And then it's like, what's the update on OG? What's the update on OG? And then we just very vague. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I love that the poll is positive, but
honest, yes.
Yeah, I mean, look, it sucks, man. It sucks because for all the reasons we've already mentioned when it comes to OG Anunoby, and obviously Karl-Anthony Towns is dealing with his thumb issue. Yeah. Although I will say this about Karl-Anthony Towns, man, he's been a beast for us. Even with this injury, granted he didn't play well against the Lakers. He was like 3 for 12, I believe. That dude is as advertised and better than even I thought he was going to be for the Knicks. So
yeah,
I think we'll be fine though. Like the poll said, we'll be fine. Maybe this is that one time where the Knicks, actually gave us a legitimate injury update.
I hope. Tony says, what is the injury he has with his finger? I believe he has a bone chip in his finger, Chris.
And his thumb.
in his thumb. Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
basically, a small piece or fragment of bone is just floating in that area. So can't
and
be can't feel too nice whenever you're shooting the ball. It's also on his shooting hand, right?
yeah. So yeah, and then Anunoby's dealing with the bone spurs in his elbow. Guys are banged up, but it's that time of the season where you're gonna deal with these injuries, and you just hope that it's nothing serious. As we all know, that the NBA All Star break is later this month, coming up here. So look, that could be a I don't know, because they list him as questionable, not doubtful, not out. I'm talking about OG Anunoby, so I don't know. I really don't know. I guess we just have to wait till the game, honestly. But I
Yeah.
just hope that it's nothing serious, because you wouldn't list him as questionable if it's something serious. So, and
Yeah.
credit to Anunoby, man. He's been battling things. He's been awesome this year. Like I said, I've been saying it, for these past couple of weeks. He hasn't played this many games in a row since his rookie season, and he's been awesome this year. When you take things, and like when you look at the big picture, he's been awesome. And we just hope that he's out there. And look, because the word out of Toronto was always that this guy doesn't play through injuries. He's gonna take his time. But as a Knick, I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
And the Game 7 versus Indiana really made me respect him tremendously. Just coming out there with a torn hamstring and just risking his body on the line. But yeah, just hope that he's good. Just hope that he's
Same.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, same. Look, he's kind of killing that trend that where they said he doesn't play through anything. He just he waits till he's 1,000% healthy. No, man.
Yeah.
OG Anunoby, Karl-Anthony Towns. All these guys are banged up and they're all playing through something. That's just the reality of it. That's the reality of the NBA. Nobody's ever 1,000 or 100% healthy. So you got to give it up to these guys. And again, hopefully OG Anunoby is good. I'd be shocked to see him out there the next game, but again, maybe it is what the Knicks said, and hopefully that comes to fruition, and he's out
Yeah.
there sooner rather than later.
Yes, indeed. These are the averages from OG and Cat. So, two guys dealing with something, and, Cat has been struggling. OG has been actually playing extremely well. A couple of rumors that came about, Knicks, Celtics, Nuggets among teams interested in 76ers forward ahead of the deadline. This is Yabusele. Knicks were interested in actually signing him in the summer, and, his name has been floated out there. 76ers don't really know what they are, obviously, but Chris, I doubt that they're gonna trade him to the Knicks for anything. I just doubt it. So
I doubt it too, but I can't front. That's kind of intriguing, man. I think that'll be a good piece for the Knicks.
yeah, I do too. All right, you want to get to my fake trade that I brought up with
Let's do it.
LV Live? I haven't asked you this, but all right, guys. So I brought up a fake trade. This was before before you come after me. This was before the Luka Doncic made a massive trade with Anthony Davis, and this was when Anthony Davis was crying about playing the 4 and having to play the 5. And all right, so this is the Knicks Nation fake trade machine, ladies and gentlemen. I know some of you don't like us talking trades, but it's the trade deadline week. After the trade deadline week, we will not talk trades. I'll guarantee you that. All right, 3-team trade. Lakers get Mitch, Jericho. Knicks get Rui Hachimura, Jackson Hayes, Javonte Green. Scratch the 2025 first-round pick, the 2028 first-round pick from the Lakers, because I doubt they're going to give up their pick now that they traded it to the Denver Nuggets. Maybe you'll get a second-round pick. And then Deuce McBride, going to the Pelicans, but you get in Javonte Green to kind of give you that depth off the bench. And you get Rui, who's a big boy, power forward, 6'8", wing that can put the ball in the basket. You get Javonte Green, who can defend his ass off. Can also shoot a little bit. He's also injury prone. And then you get Jackson Hayes with the you shipping off Mitch and you shipping off Jericho Sims to LA. So you need some depth. So once again, Knicks Nation fake trade. What do you think about this, Chris?
I hate that Miles McBride is in there.
Yeah.
But I can't front that return for the Knicks would be great. I mean, Rui, I wanted Rui on the Knicks when he became available. Good player. Jackson Hayes, he could hold down the fort at center. And then obviously we know about Green and what he could possibly provide us. So I like all those pieces, obviously. Giving up Mitch, Jericho, and McBride, that's tough, man. Miles McBride is the sticking point for me, but I don't hate it. I don't entirely hate it.
Yeah, it was growing on a lot of people when I brought this up a few days ago. It was growing on a lot of people, but obviously Deuce McBride. Look, this is 99% sure this doesn't happen, but I just wanted to find some ways to one, recoup assets. Maybe it's a first, maybe it's 2 seconds from the Pelicans because McBride is an asset that you're losing, and you're only getting Javonte, so the Pelicans would have to cough up a first-round pick. So you're recouping assets, and you're essentially getting better on the bench. So, yeah, that's why I was kind of searching through things that could be a little bit realistic. Then old head in the chat says no GM that wants to keep their job with Trayford Mitch, who hasn't played all season. Hey, man, Luka Doncic just got traded for a first-round pick and Anthony Davis, man. I mean, anything is possible. Anything is possible. So, yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, after that trade, you can't say almost any trade is bad at this point.
Yeah, and even this Bulls, Kings, Spurs trade, like I don't even like the return that the Bulls got. Levine's been having an amazing year, and I know his contract stinks, but it's look, the market has shifted in my opinion, Chris. I mean, I know we spent a lot of those, like obviously the Mikal Bridges trade is obviously magnified now because I've seen it, like we've mentioned before, I've seen a lot of people just go to the Mikal Bridges trade and you traded 5 firsts for Mikal Bridges. And they got Luka for 1 first. Well, Anthony Davis, I think, is worth what? 3 alone. So
yeah. Can even say 4 because of the hell of a season he's been having.
Yeah. And I kind of think the market is shifting a little bit because of the apron rules. So it's something to watch. It's something to watch for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. We're seeing it with some of the trades already. Just teams can't kind of go crazy and take back all the salary they want. The apron rules, the new changes, that's starting to affect teams in a real way. I mean, that's the reality for the Knicks as well. We're gonna do our best, obviously, to make this team better, but they're limited. They're limited, and there's a lot of other teams in that same scenario. So, that's why these trades coming up now that we're seeing are kind of shocking because you're going to see these trades and the majority, I'm sure, is going to be 3-team trades.
Mm-hmm.
You need other teams now to help facilitate some of these trades if you're trying to trade big salary.
Yeah, it also depends like how the Knicks look at this deadline and how they look at the summer. What are their expectations this year? We've won some great games, big games, breaking records, 2 starting all-stars. The starting 5 has looked incredible. For the most part, everyone has been, healthy. Do they look at this like, look, we can compete with the best of them? Boston looks like they're, not the same team. Whether you want to say they're bored, Cleveland is Cleveland. Still want to give them their respect. But with Mitch, I think we got a shot versus Cleveland. And the East is kind of just, honestly, Boston. And which is why this game coming up is going to be must-watch TV. Now, if it's without OG, that's a different story. But it's how this front office views this current Knicks team, and if there's a deal out there that can push that they think they can push them over the top. Because I've seen people say that I don't think the Knicks need to make a trade. I just think the trade that they're the guy that they're going to acquire is Mitchell Robinson. And don't get me wrong, I've said it multiple times this year. When Mitch is back, he will help tremendously. The issue I've been struggling with is like, I just need to see that. I just need to see that because, the fantasy of having Mitch with Cat will obviously clean up some things and help our defense and, just expand the rotation so guys play less minutes. And you have options with maybe starting Mitch if he's, 100% and putting Josh Hart off the bench to kind of boost the bench and replace a Shamit, and they can go that route. So they can be just patient and say, hey, we trust that Mitch is going to come back and be healthy for us, and we're just going to sit back and just see how this season turns out. And if we make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, great. Then obviously I think that's a successful season. But anything less than that, I think, that's when I think this next front office could get creative this summer and kind of retool their bench. So,
yeah.
I said a lot there, but
no, yeah. I agree, and I think that's probably the realistic scenario, right?
yeah.
It's the front office is probably looking at the bigger picture and not so much, obviously, yeah, if you can make this team better and do it this season, they'll do that, right? But why not just be a little bit patient? Obviously the Cat trade came, pretty late in the off season, basically right at the start of the season. So let's see how things play out, right? And then maybe you make your moves in the off season, see what you get out of Mitch, right? See where you have to improve. Because this Knicks team, granted, the injury bug is now hitting us pretty badly, but this Knicks team was starting to figure things out. And I was starting to lean in that same category. Maybe we don't need to make a crazy trade or anything like that,
Yeah.
Just see what shakes out in the buyout market or something like that at a piece that can possibly help you. Maybe you don't even have to trade a damn single person.
Yeah.
But, OG Anunoby goes down and maybe that accelerates things a little bit. But I do think the front office will be patient, and I think they're looking at the bigger picture more so than just the immediate future.
They have more information than us regarding injuries, so they know exactly what the OG Anunoby injury is. They know exactly what the Mitchell Robinson, situation is. Ian Begley said that he thinks something probably went wrong in Mitchell Robinson's rehab. That's why it's been getting pushed back. He was responding to somebody on Twitter. So, they have all the information, and they're not afraid to trade anyone. Look, IQ, RJ, out the door, then Dante, Rando out the door. They traded for Cam Reddish, then they traded Cam Reddish and a pick for Josh Hart, which Mike Breen has said on record that he thinks that's probably, the best Knicks trade in Knicks history. And Hart with another triple-double. He is going to break Clyde Frazier's triple-double record, by the way. It's only a matter of time. If he says he wants to play 5 more years as a Knick. He's kind of like capping off his career because I think he just wants to be a dad and, watch his kids grow up. But he's going to break that record. He's been incredible for us. Huck Porty, Kolek, Whitting in the wings. It's I don't know. Yeah, Thursday will tell a lot. Thursday will tell you a lot. That's where I stand. If they don't do anything, then Mitch is coming back and they think he's healthy, and the OG Anunoby injury isn't that serious.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think you're right. We're gonna have to wait and see how things play out. But for now, let's just hope that OG Anunoby has, a foot sprain and yeah, Mitch comes back and becomes the Mitch we all know and love, right?
Yes. All right, let's hit some of these comments before we hit trivia. Trivia coming up, guys. Appreciate you guys in the chat. Nostalgic in the chat. What's going on, Nostalgic? Yo, Alpha says, why don't we get players from the G League? Okiki. McCullough. Excited about McCullough, man. I really am. He look good.
It's gonna be some time, man. He just got down there, but I agree, man.
He's gonna be good, man. I'm telling you.
What do you say about that? Why not bring up an Okiki and give him a shot? I mean, he was playing for the Magic before, Why not give him a shot? Or I think TJ Warren is still down there. Maybe that's a move, the Knicks make. Bring up one of these guys and just, have a little bit of help off that bench.
They could be patient. I think they're going to wait a little bit to see if they can acquire someone at the deadline. If not, I think, one of those guys will be up. But I think they're just being patient. Everyone's been healthy, but, now with the OG thing. So, but it's an option. We just have to wait and see. But, yeah, McCullough.
Yeah.
Look, man, I don't really predict things, but today's February 2nd, 2025. I think McCullough is going to have a good career in this league. If he can stay healthy, I like his game a lot. So, Nostalgia says Kev is up next. All right, Chris, trivia.
Let's do it.
Those of you just joining, we do trivia every single week. Chris is 5-5. I'm 6-4. Currently the leader. This week it is my turn to ask, not ax, Chris a question. Appreciate you guys in the chat. Subscribe, like, all that good stuff. Chris, you ready?
I'm ready.
What is the New York Knicks' longest winning streak? Is it A, 18 games, B, 22 games, C, 20 games, or D, 16 games?
I don't think it was 22 games. I feel like it could be 20 games. We already got C in the chat from Carl. Tony is saying 18. Die-hard Knicks fan. I love that Tony was bringing the positivity before. I might have to roll with Tony. Buzzer beater says C.
This is one of those questions where it's tough. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, this is a tough question in my opinion because
we're getting some more A's in the chat. You know what? I don't really know, but I'm gonna go with A.
Why you cheating, yo?
I'm gonna go with A.
We got some smart. We got some smart viewers.
Tony brought that positivity before, which I appreciated. Then we got some backup with Keith and Rodney saying A. We got a lot of C's there as well, but I'm gonna go with A. I'm gonna go with A. 18 games. Final answer as I continue to peek into the chat. I'm going
A. Final answer.
A. Final answer.
All right. Keith says A. Rodney A. Buzzer beater says C. Tony A. Yeah, the correct answer is A. 18 straight victories en route to a 60-22 record during the 1969-1970 season.
Oof.
Bonus question, which you'll probably never get. This is for 30 million points. Who was the 18th victory against?
The Lakers.
No, I'm looking at the box score and it says the Cincinnati Royals.
Oh, what?
This is in 1969. The Cincinnati Royals. The Knicks won their 18th straight game in Cleveland.
Yeah. I was never going to get that. Never.
30, that season,
30 million points. Never happening.
The Cincinnati Royals finished 36-46. Jerry Lucas on that team. Wow.
Hey.
Bob Cousy. Fred Foster, Johnny Green. Let me see who was on the Knicks team. Let me look at the box score. So you had Walt Frazier, Willis Reed, Dave DeBuscher, Dick Barnett, Bill Bradley, Cazzie Russell, Dave Stallworth, Nate Bauman.
Squad.
Walt Frazier dropped 27 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists in that game. Willis Reed had 19 and 13. Squad.
Knicks 100 GM says that's the Kings now.
Wow. I love our viewers, Chris, bringing the knowledge. Cincinnati Royals. Tony. Yeah, Tony, diehard Knicks fan. Andios, what's going on? Appreciate you in the chat. Always supporting. If you're enjoying the content, yes, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. Oh, forgot to give you the applause, Chris. Sorry, don't want to be disrespectful.
Mad late, man. Damn.
Sorry, don't want to be rude. Don't want to be rude. All right, guys.
That applause is for the chat, man.
Yeah. All right. So you are now 6-5. So you got to stump me next week. Big game, Chris, coming up. Big game. Houston
Game
Rockets.
coming up. Look, it doesn't get any easier. Obviously, I'm assuming OG Anunoby's not going to play that game. But look, I still feel we got enough. We obviously have enough firepower to match up with anybody in this league. So, I'm saying Knicks are going to take it with or without OG Anunoby.
I trust. Look, I think the Rockets lost to the Nets, right? But I think they lost to Memphis and they lost to the Nets in back-to-back games. So, look, it's the NBA. Anyone can get this
Cold streak.
The stinking Nets. And I don't think Sengun was playing in that game. But still, bring your A game, please. Bring your A game. So, go ahead.
I'm thinking Cat has a big game. I think Cat bounces back from this LA game.
I need a cat drop. Like every time you say cat, I need like a row. Nah, I don't want that. I don't want that. I need some more drops. We need to stop implementing some drops in here. Yeah. I got my DJ air horn. Yeah, big game, and then you go on the road at Toronto versus Boston. Then after that is Indiana, Atlanta, the new look Chicago Bulls, Cleveland, Boston. So, these next few weeks, that is after the All-Star break at Boston, at Cleveland. So that's like right after the All-Star break, but All-Star break is in 2 weeks? So trading deadline is this Thursday. So, it should be fun. People are excited, but or they're nervous or they're chilling. I'm chilling. Big Taz says, please don't make that sound. My little round.
Yeah, that's what I saw. Have me dying right now.
I'm going to find a good cat drop. Every time you say cat, it's going to be like in the background.
We gotta work on the soundboard.
Yeah, we'll get it. It's coming along. All right, guys, this was fun. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you for the support. Once again, please hit us up on the audio side on Spotify, Apple. Really helps us out on that end. But Chris, anything else?
Yeah, OG, get healthy soon.
Yes.
We need you.
Buzzer beater says, don't we usually bounce back after a bad loss? Let's go. Let's bounce back.
Exactly.
Then Big Taz says, use the MGM soundbite. MGM soundbite. What is that? I'm not hip. I'm not too hip to that. What is the MGM soundbite? I'll figure it out, but big task. But we'll get the soundboard right. You know, Josh Hart, we'll get some hearts floating around on the screen. Brunson, I don't know. We'll get it right. It's coming along. It's coming along. Keith says we need to donate for the soundboard. Yes. Because right now it's
a work in progress right now.
Oh, the lion roar. The lion roar. Yeah. Like roar, roar.
Oh, that old school. Yeah. Okay. That's better than that. Yeah, I'm not even gonna try to.
All right, I won't try it again. All right, guys, this was fun. I'll catch you guys next time. Post game back tomorrow versus Houston. So I'll see you guys in the post game. I'm Anthony from Knicks Nation.
I'm Chris.
We'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.